Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Speculating Disney Parks. I'm Sam, the nostalgic Disney fan, and with me, as always, is Porter, the new age Disney fan.
Howdy.
And we are done speculating Magic Kingdom. It's fun to speculate, but it's nice to move on to another park here. So we're going to start with EPCOT, and today we're going to start with World Nature. Those who may not be up to date with all the changes going on at EPCOT. I know it's a little confusing. World Nature is just the land and the living seas. So let's hop right into it, and you should see a map of EPCOT zoomed in.
Yeah, and you can kind of see the different sections of Future World here, since they recently updated them.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job of. Yeah, I guess it is a little weird with Spaceship Earth, and then it just kind of connects over here, but
Yeah,
it's easy to figure out based on the kind of attraction you're going on.
it's essentially three columns.
That's a great way of looking at it. I never thought of it that way. I wonder if the Moana attraction is going to be World Celebration or World Nature, because I don't really think of. I
I
think of
think World
nature when I think
Nature.
of Moana. I don't think of World Celebration. I don't
No, I
know.
think the attraction has to do with like water. It's like I can't remember what the attraction is supposed to be called, but it has something to do with like living water or something along those lines.
Let's look at uh Journey of Water inspired by Moana.
Okay, Journey of Water.
It's going to open sometime this year in at World Nature in Epcot. So,
Okay.
boy, that's funny looking. You're going to have World Nature that's going to stick out here, and then you're going to have Epcot and everything over here to the left, and then you got Figment. Poor guy. He's just being
Yeah.
neglected.
Oh well.
We'll talk about that in another episode.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just interesting to kind of look at the all of Future World here.
How it's been reorganized. I will
Yeah.
say, I mean, no offense to anybody whose faces were on those stones, but I'm glad they're gone because it's so much easier to get in and out of the park.
Oh yeah, and it just looks better too. Those what were they called? Like legacy stones or something like that.
I'm gonna look and see. That might have been what they were called. Is it Leave a Legacy? Let's see if that's what it was.
Okay. Yeah, well, whatever they were called, they were a bit of an eyesore there. And again, not to dampen anyone's parade that was on those, but I just like the trees and the more natural look.
The Legacy monoliths.
Legacy
Or no,
monoliths.
I guess they were the stones. Okay. Hmm. I remember a flight attendant. I was talking to a flight attendant once, and she was talking about how glad she was that University of Energy was being rethemed, and I mentioned how glad I was that the Legacy stones were being removed, and she said, "I'm not glad. My face is on those." And I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be a long flight." Haven't flown Frontier since.
That's so
Anyways,
funny. Calling Guardians of the Galaxy a Universe of Energy retheme.
yeah, it's still weird, but anyways, first on our list here with World Nature, we have Awesome Planet. I have not done this, and I don't think you have either.
I have not.
Okay, well, I did a little bit of research. It's in the, it's in this theater. If you look, if you go into the land, it's over off to the right. There was a show, The Circle of Life Environmental Fable, which ran from 1995 to 2018. That I don't remember the exact details of it, but I do remember seeing it. And before that, there was a show called Symbiosis, which ran from 1982 to 1995. And they followed the same theme of looking at humanity's impact on nature and how, even though we're making progress, we're kind of destroying the environment. And, we need a way to preserve the environment while at the same time making progress. So that was kind of a theme that those shows had. And they both lasted more than 10 years.
Yeah.
And this new show is narrated by Ty Burrell, who's Phil on Modern Family. So now I'm upset that we missed
We
it
did.
because
Yeah, we can get
I kind of want to see Phil talk about nature, but
there.
or the awesome planet. But I think it opened in 2020, and I mean, looking at the track record, it's not something that Disney fans are posting about a lot in groups. Like I don't see anybody going, "Oh my God, you've got to go see Awesome Planet."
Well, I feel like at the
However,
park even, it's not very. I don't even remember seeing signs for this attraction.
I want to say I saw like it's like the light up sign over where the theater was, but I just kind of glanced at it
Huh.
as we were heading to our lightning lane for Living with the Land. But
Right.
um, anyways, I think this is safe in the next 10 years. It's I mean that area has never been something that's been super popular. The only thing that I could think could replace it is if Elemental has uh, Frozen level success at the box office, maybe they could replace it. But I mean, obviously, most unless you're a movie critic, nobody else has seen it yet, so we'll see how it is. But something like
Yeah.
that successful, I could see that replacing it.
Yeah, I saw Elemental right now. It's got a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Boy, that's not
Um,
good.
so, but I don't think it comes out until mid-June. So, the jury's still out. I've heard also great things about it. So, who knows about that? But yeah, I mean, gosh, I guess they could, decide on another movie to do for Awesome Planet. But I mean, I feel like Modern Family is still relevant today. Um, People recognize the voice. So yeah, I would agree with you that it's safe. I can't see it's not really a space anyway to me. So like I feel like they just have to put something
Yeah, that's
there.
probably going to be what's there for the time being until they can come up with something better. So Elemental comes out on June 16th. So
Okay,
next week.
gotcha.
All right, moving on to a lot of people's favorite Epcot ride, soaring around the world. Porter, what are your thoughts on this one?
So this is a staple attraction. One of the longer wait times typically. You can't miss Soarin'. It's such a good family ride too. Like it's got a few thrills in it, but it's also calm and relaxing. You're if you've got young kids, they'll love it, and if you've got like grandma and grandpa with you, they'll love it too.
That's my grandma's favorite ride in all of Disney World. She loves Soarin'. Every time she goes, we have to ride Soarin'. We're like, yes, Grandma, we will ride Soarin'. And I mean, it's it's such a fun ride that like everybody can enjoy it,
Yeah,
and it's got some thrill to it, and you might get a little bit of motion sickness, but it's nothing on the level of Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's kind of that semi thrill for everybody, if that makes sense. But I think this ride is safe. I mean, I don't know that they would give it a new show. I'm trying to look up here and see how long those shows ran for. So Soarin' over California ran for 11 years, and Soarin' around the world is in its seventh year. So
gotcha.
within the
Okay.
next 10 years, I could maybe see them doing another show, although around the
Yeah,
world, it's kind of hard to top that
yeah.
if you go from California to the world, but maybe they could
Soaring
hit new.
around the solar system.
Maybe that's what replaces Mission Space, but next episode.
Yeah, world nature should not focus on the solar system.
Yeah, I think they're good on
I
that.
like where they're at. Yeah.
Soarin' Mars.
Oh, and speaking of Soren, like shout out to their queue. Like I love playing that mini game that they've got going on in the queue with the geography and culture and all that sorts of questions, trivia.
It never, you're never bored in that line, because even
Yeah.
before the Play Disney Parks app, anybody else who was there might remember, this was in the 2000s, early 2010s, where it had some kind of vision system that was like, everybody had to wave their arms around and the bird would fly faster, and you'd have hundreds of people in this area waving their arms around, and everybody's just getting real into it, even though you got to keep the line moving so we can all get on the attraction sooner. But with the Disney, the new, Disney Play app, it's still makes it fun.
Yeah,
This is honestly one of those like perfect attractions.
it really is. It's hard to hate on it. It's also got great cue music.
Oh yeah, gets you very excited.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Living with the Land. This is another one that I feel like, since during the pandemic, there were a few different rides that one second.
Had a
Excuse me.
resurgence.
Yeah, it kind of gained a cult following, like the People Mover.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, I don't know why it gained such a following, but I'm so glad that it did. This is one of those rides. It's like, I don't really know what they'd replace it with. I think it's definitely safe within the next 10 years. Doing that behind the scenes tour is on my bucket list, but it's such a calm break from the AC, or in the AC from the heat. It's
Oh
such a,
yeah.
it's a very relaxing ride. It's almost like ASMR in a way. So definitely safe in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I also think it's safe. Going through it, I still feel like we went through it last time, obviously with that lightning lane story. Um, I still feel like they're at the cutting edge when it comes to some of their technology that they are using. Now, I don't want to sit here and say that Disney's using incredibly sustainable cutting edge, you know, methods for all of their food sourcing and stuff like that. But certainly the technology is impressive to me, at least. But I'm also no expert on this and very easy to please. So
I think this is one of those attractions that just came to mind. I think if you were to, I think just about every ride in Disney, you could incorporate some kind of IP, but I think this one might be the most difficult, because I really don't know of any IP that you could incorporate into this ride.
yeah, Wally maybe.
Oh
Wally
yeah,
Ava.
Wally could potentially, but I don't know. It might be kind of weird in some spots.
No, it really would be. But I feel like if they were to do an IP, that would be a suitable one.
But going back to what you were saying about the farming methods, I mean, a lot of that stuff is pretty unique. I've seen the hydroponics where the fish, or the fish farming. I don't know if I may have
Yeah.
gotten my terms mixed up, but there was a place here in Beaver Creek, Ohio, where somebody had a fish farming kind of thing where, they're using the fish and everything to grow the crops and everything, and the water and all that, and it was pretty cool. And then seeing it at Disney, I'm like, I saw that at home. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like they were talking about how they grow food um in water in the same water that they have fish, and the fish eat the um some like the fibers of the leaves or the plant. And it's like a very mutually beneficial relationship. Just really, really cool stuff. I hope it does stick around for a while.
I think,
I
yeah,
think it will.
I mean, with all that space, it's like, what would you do with it if you got rid of it? I think it's safe.
Yeah.
So next on the list is the Seas with Nemo and Friends
Ugh.
attraction. You get to start this one off.
This attraction is so frustrating to me because they've got a cool concept connecting it to Finding Nemo, as we're gonna talk about with Turtle Talk with Crush. But like this whole kind of weird experience with the ride, and it's slow moving, and you just go through little TV screens where the Finding Nemo characters, you know, try to find Nemo and then sing the Big Blue World song at the end. This should just be like a big walkthrough space. Just get rid of the attraction, get rid of the queue. Just make this a fun walkthrough that can be like an optional entrance, which it is right now, but an optional entrance into the seas area. But you can have the jellyfish still, like their tentacles hanging down. Kids love that stuff, just running through the jellyfish tentacles, and you can move the shipwreck area from the aquarium, to this area. I just there's got to be a better way to do this, and I think it's safe for the next 10 years. I really do think they're not going to touch it, but I wish they would change it up.
I love that description of this is just an optional entrance into the aquarium, because I've ridden this once and I remember kind of going through it and being like, seriously, like this is it. Like it would be much better as a walkthrough attraction. I don't think it's safe in the next 10 years. I think that its popularity is going to continue to decrease. I think they're going to have to do something with it soon, because that aquarium is so cool, but I remember it being really crowded too. And I feel like they could do something, make it like a walkthrough area like you suggested, and maybe free up the traffic a little bit. You've go talk to or go follow Nemo's expedition at
Make
first.
more space for the sea animals. Like convert
that too
area into more aquarium space. Like,
and then if you want, have a projection or some kind of screen showing Nemo,
yeah,
all the creatures right there. I mean, they've got the technology to do it, and I'm sure there's a way that they could have it one way so it doesn't affect the sea creatures. But
right.
they've got the innovation that I'm sure they could pull it off. But I don't think this is safe. I think it's going to get rethemed.
Okay. Do you know if they've talked about doing another Nemo movie? Do we know?
I don't. I last I heard about Pixar sequels was after Toy Story 4, they were done with sequels and they wanted to do original stories. When, of course, with the announcement of Toy Story 5 and Inside Out 2, we obviously that didn't last long. But
Is Bob Iger Chapek said, "Hey, nope, we're making sequels."
Yeah, pretty much. But I'm sure Ellen DeGeneres would be 100% on board to play Dory again, because she was pretty hyped up for Finding Dory on her show. I don't know if they're going to do another movie. I haven't heard anything on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Next on the list is Turtle Talk with Crush. This is one that I have not done yet, but I think it's safe in the next 10 years because it's what the Monsters Inc. laugh floor. It's like, from what I've seen, it's like the better version of it because it's more interactive.
Yeah.
And I always see people having a good time with the clips that they post. So I think this is definitely going to be here for 10 years because it looks like everybody's just having so much fun. Why would you get rid of a show that always seems to have a 30-minute wait every time I look?
Yeah, I think this is another one of those like perfect attractions. It's like it fits so well with the area, and especially since it is made for kids. Like, I don't know, just the education component, like the interactivity of it. Kids go do this and interact with a beloved character from one of their favorite movies, and then they go out and they see all of these animals for real. Like, I can't imagine being a kid and experiencing that, and the impact that's got to have on how you view our oceans.
It's like kind of like an advanced meet and greet in a way. I mean, I know you can
Yeah.
interact with the princes and the princesses, but the animal characters, obviously, they don't talk back or anything like that. So to have a non-human character that you can interact with is that's pretty incredible. And I
Yeah.
would not be surprised if they took this and they expanded it to more uh characters that are popular as well. Like I know Crush wasn't
Yeah.
the most popular, but he was he was so likable in the movie and he was pretty entertaining that he was perfect.
Yeah. Exactly. Great attraction.
So last on this list here is Sea Base, which is the
Yeah.
5.7 million gallon aquarium. What do you think about that one?
I didn't realize that they consider this an attraction.
I didn't either until I looked at the map and I'm like, oh, well,
So
guess we're
this
going to talk
is
about that today.
yeah, this is just what they call the aquarium then, right?
That's what they call it. Do you think this is safe in the next
Okay.
10 years?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, where the heck are you gonna put the animals? Uh, I mean, unless like aquariums start to face some crazy backlash, uh, or Disney has some sort of like damning evidence against them. I don't know, but like it's gonna stay.
I agree. I mean they do a lot of work to rehabilitate animals that are injured in the
Yeah.
wild as well, and sometimes they were injured so bad that they can't be re-released, and this is kind of
Yeah.
a refuge for them if you want to look at it that way. So I think this attraction is definitely safe because
Yeah.
I think that just that would pretty much shut down the area if you got rid of that. The Nemo ride would not survive on its own.
Yeah. No.
So a little bit of a backstory. I don't know that we ever discussed the Living with the Land Lightning Lane story because we were in Magic Kingdom for the first part of the episodes. Our first day at Disney, last March, we went to Epcot, and I had just learned how to do Genie Plus and Lightning Lane. It was all so confusing. I thought I was reserving Lightning Lane for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. It was early in the morning, and I was not paying attention very well. I reserved Lightning Lane for Living with the Land, so we had to wait 3 minutes instead of 5. That was embarrassing, but it makes for a funny story.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes for a funny Genie Plus story. Ugh. Well, so like I know that didn't they announce that the Epcot transformation is done,
It's in the finishing.
or like it'll be done when Moana is done, maybe.
Yeah, it'll be done when Moana's
Okay,
wrapped up.
man. I guess like overall, it doesn't feel like much of a transformation. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the center area here is definitely transforming a lot because this used to
Yeah,
be, shops, restaurants, and that, the giant pin trading thing in the center. And of
yeah.
course, if I remember right, there was a fountain in the center as well. But
I
yeah, I
guess I'll
mean,
have to hold judgment until they unfence that area because
I
there
can't
are
wait.
still a lot of walls up.
I can't wait till those walls are gone because that's
Oh
annoying
my
walking
gosh,
around.
they're so annoying. Yeah,
It's just like I remember we wanted to
out of
go
place.
from, if I'm probably going to get our attractions mixed up, but I remember we had to go from like I think Living with the Land over to no, we were going from Test Track because we got there at Rope Drop, and then we had to go to Living with the Land, and instead of just cutting straight across, you have to go around. That was annoying.
Yeah,
So that's it for World Nature. Before we get into our top five, I just want to talk about a little bit of what we're going to do with our next episode. We're going to cover World Celebration and World Discovery in the same episode. But one thing that we've seen Disney fans split about with Test Track is whether or not it should be rethemed to Cars or some other Disney IP or leave it as it is, its own original park thing. So I'm going to post on trader.sam.eagle in my story. I'm going to try to see if I can extend the poll to last longer than a day. I'm going to post a thing asking, should it remain original or should it be Disney IP? let me know what you think, because we're both kind of curious, what people think about Test Track, because it's commonly brought up in retheming, but I don't really know that Disney would do that. But that's a discussion for next episode. Stay if you'd like. We are going to talk about our top 5 attraction soundtracks.
All right.
One of the things that keeps me going on YouTube until my next Disney trip.
Yeah, exactly.
On that note, Porter, you start us off.
All right. My number 5 is Spaceship Earth. We're staying in Epcot. Yeah, I think this soundtrack is just classic. You can kind of feel it as soon as you step into the attraction. All the music flows together so well, regardless of what time period you're at on the ride. I just think they've done such a great job of capturing that feeling of like the future and possibility, and wonder, So that's why it's in my top 5. Also, I have to give an honorable mention. I was thinking of this because I didn't want to include it in my top 5 since it's still so new. Well, new to me at least. Is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad. That has a very catchy soundtrack. So honorable mention, but not in my top 5.
I love the Spaceship Earth one as well. It's such a fun attraction to. It's weird when you get in the giant Epcot ball and there's no Disney IP in here, but it's just so immersive with everything, especially like I think the earlier time periods are better. Like, I don't know, I just enjoy it more, but
yeah. I really like the Renaissance too. When they play the Renaissance music,
oh yeah,
chills.
very
Love
festive.
It. Yeah,
almost similar to the Tangled bathroom area in a way.
exactly. Same vibes.
So I struggled a lot with my number 5, and the 2 honorable mentions that I had to kind of remove for it were the Great Movie Ride and Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. Those were, obviously there were a lot of different soundtracks in a Great Movie Ride, but I love, Hooray for Hollywood was obviously fun. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, love the futuristic stuff, makes you feel like a Space Ranger. But my number 5, we're going to stay in Tomorrowland, is the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover. I know that the music from that ride is pretty much the cue for the area music for Tomorrowland, but I've just always enjoyed the futuristic going through and everything. And of course, the narration. I love the old narration where it's like, now approaching Mickey Star Traders. I miss that a lot, but it's still, I don't know. I've always loved the blend of narration and the queue area music on that ride for that soundtrack.
No, that's a good one. Yeah, glad it made one of our top 5s. All right. So I don't consider this ride even newish anymore. This ride's been out for a bit, so I feel safe including it in my top 5. Flight of Passage. It's, oh my gosh, just the way that the music works in tandem with how you're riding through Pandora. It just enhances the experience so much to another level. Like when you stop in that cave to take a rest, and all of those like pink glowing things start to float up. It just feels so peaceful, and then it picks up back into just a very exciting like crescendo as you approach the finale. So definitely makes my top 5 favorite ride music.
It's yeah, that soundtrack really gets you into it. I mean, I know it'd be
epic.
Yeah, like it's honestly like it reminds you of a great movie score or something as well. It's
right. I mean, it really is just Avatar music, but
yeah,
it's done in a great way.
So my number 4 is one that I'm going to assume is on your top 5 as well. And actually probably a lot of people as well, the Country Bear Jamboree. This is such a fun attraction. This is the animatronic show that I hope they never get rid of. I always have a blast every time I go, and I've listened to it enough. I've actually discovered who sang a lot of the original songs. I think the some of the opening songs are uh those are all original for the attraction, but everything else is covered, old country songs, and it's
Yeah,
they're like, I've listened to some of them, and I mean some of them I kind of like more, but and the Country Bears is just so much fun, especially Old Slewfoot at the end, the one he's big around the middle and he's broad across the rump, running 95 90
yeah,
miles an hour, making 30 feet of jump. That's everybody's clapping, and some people are probably hooting and hollering along with the Bears as well. But it's so much. You can't go on that ride and not have, or that attraction and not have fun. I love that soundtrack.
it's
I
impossible.
it's one of my favorite vinyls to listen to as well.
Oh, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
that's from the 70s. And Henry the Bear goes, "Welcome to the Country Bear Jamboree presented by Frito Lay." I'm like, man, they don't announce sponsors anymore.
Yeah, it's weird to hear that. Frito Lay doesn't belong in Country Bears.
Apparently it did in the 70s, but carry on.
Anyway, my number three is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Same.
Classic. Oh, really? Hey,
Yes.
all right, all right. You can't beat Pirates Life for me. Come on. I mean, well, you can. We've still got two more, but I mean, it's just a classic. Um, and I feel like it is for good reason. Uh, but the attraction itself also has awesome music outside of the the Yo Ho Yo Ho Pirates Life for Me song. There's the part with the fort.
Oh, when it's going the dun 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 dun
Yeah,
dun dun
like
dun
that.
dun
Yeah, that
dun.
epic pirates music.
I
You know,
love that so much when you're going
yeah,
through and Barbossa's going, "Give them a broadside, pound them lads." God, I love that so much.
oh yeah, and the cannons are blowing up around you. You
And
don't
you're
know if
just
you're
sitting
gonna
there
get
getting
wet.
all excited, like, we're in a Pirates movie.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, just that's a great one.
Yeah, that one's, I mean, it's one of the funniest things is I don't remember who, but I think somebody assumed that Pirate's Life for Me was like an old pirate song. I'm like, no, that was written in the 50s for
Yeah.
the Disney ride. There is no pirate in the 1700s that would have said, "I bet we're loved by our mommies and dads." That was a Disney thing, okay?
Yeah.
By Xavier Atancio, who's gonna write who wrote another great song, which will be mentioned a little bit later. But yeah, this soundtrack is they uh they nailed it with this one. 10 out of 10.
It,
It's if you've been on the ride multiple times, you know most of the lyrics to Yoho Pirate's Life for Me.
oh yeah. Well, I'll just go into my number two because we've already talked about it a bit. So my number two is Country Bear Jamboree. Uh, this for all the reasons that you said. It's amazing, and I hope they never get rid of
Fun ride, and I'm upset that we missed it last time, but
it. Yeah, yeah. We'll get to it next time.
we had a lot of new things that we were trying out, and unfortunately that got sacrificed as we were doing all the
Yeah,
new experiences. Next time, and we're not going to make that mistake
yeah.
of
No,
skipping Country Bears.
no sir.
So my number two is the Haunted Mansion. Obviously, it's so spooky, it's so eerie, and it's like it really can be a little terrifying at some parts, and then they do such a good job with building up the suspense. But when you get to the Graveyard Jamboree, that is the part that I absolutely love, and I have the lyrics to Grim Grinning Ghost memorized. So when we go by the bus, I'm sitting there singing along, annoying everybody around me, but I don't care. That's probably one of my favorite parts of any Disney ride. Just when they got that going, I'm like, man, I hope I come here. I hope I come here when I die. This is so
Exactly.
much fun.
Oh man. Yeah, couldn't agree more. That's why it's my number one.
Ooh.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Can't say enough about this one. And you said it all. Grim Grinning Ghosts. It's just such an amazing song.
Also written by Exotancio.
Yes. I think I remember reading in that Haunted Mansion book, like for both Yo-Ho and Grim Grinning Ghosts, that he needed to make songs that could continue and that you couldn't really tell when the end was. They would just continue in a loop, which I thought was a really cool fun fact.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
My number one is Splash Mountain. I love that soundtrack. All three of those songs, even though it's only got three songs, they were so much fun. Like, how do you do, was great when you're, first being introduced to all the characters. And then I know you and Taylor hate Laughing Places. Y'all got stuck there for how long?
Oh, it was a little over 10 minutes.
Oh, really? I thought it was longer than that. Okay. It
Maybe it
probably
was.
felt like longer.
Yeah, it felt like a long time.
But of course, and then when you after the drop and you come down for Zippity Doo Dah at the end, that's probably one of the most festive areas of any Disney ride. Just that celebration vibe that you get from it is like that's one of the things that I'm really gonna miss from it. But of course, they're replacing it with Princess and the Frog, which was a very festive movie with all the New Orleans jazz. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that whatever they replace it with is going to be just as festive and celebratory and fun, if not more. Now, the one thing
Yeah.
this soundtrack absolutely nailed better than any ride was suspense buildup going up before the drop when they've got that real doomsday feeling music and the vultures going, time to be turning around. If only you could. I please Disney, bring back. I cannot pronounce his name, but what's his name?
Dr. Facilier.
Dr. Facilier. Please bring
Dr.
back
Facilier.
Dr. Facilier for the drop when it's going, are you ready? Doom, 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 doom. That is the absolute perfect song for the drop. I mean, it's right there. Just please do it. It would be incredible.
Yep.
I'll get off my
Low-hanging fruit.
soapbox now. Okay, well, this has been a fun episode diving into EPCOT and talking about ride soundtracks. Be looking for that survey on trader.sam.eagle about test track replacement. We will see you all next episode.
Later.